As we begin to wrap up October, we want to acknowledge this month is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Down syndrome is a condition in which a person is born with an extra chromosome. In the United States, 67 to 85% of unborn babies tested with Down syndrome are aborted. That is why a group of Ohio lawmakers have recently introduced the Down Syndrome Non-Discrimination Act. The bill would ban abortions when parents want to abort their baby either partially or entirely based on a Down syndrome prenatal diagnosis. Convicted abortionists could be charged with a fourth-degree felony, be stripped of their medical license, and be held liable for legal damages. The woman would face no criminal liability. Ohio State Representative Derek Merrin of District 47 sponsored the state's House version of the Down Syndrome Non-Discrimination Act. He joins us now from Toledo, Ohio. Thanks for being with us.
Catherine, it's great to be with you.
First off, why did you want to sponsor this bill?
Well, I believe we need to create a culture of life in Ohio where all unborn children's lives matter. And I don't believe any child should be discriminated against because they have a genetic condition or a medical condition. I believe all children should be treated the same and that we, by our laws, should protect all those children.
How would this type of an abortion ban be implemented? Couldn't an expecting couple simply say they are seeking an abortion for a reason other than Down syndrome to get around the ban?
Sure. The bill specifically addresses the physician. The bill prohibits a physician from conducting an abortion based on the belief or diagnosis that the mother is having an abortion based on Down syndrome. It also makes them put down in a written record that an abortion was not performed due to Down syndrome, and we have significant penalties for a doctor that would falsify that information. So I do believe that physicians and the medical community would follow the law.
Families who learn of a Down syndrome diagnosis might feel overwhelmed, not sure of what life will be like for their child. What kind of supports does your state provide to families who have children with Down syndrome?
Well, our state supports Down syndrome, the Down syndrome community a lot. The medical community has made great progress caring for children with Down syndrome. The life expectancy of children with Down syndrome has skyrocketed to over 60. Many employers are now employing individuals with Down syndrome. And people with Down syndrome have so much to give back to the community. They're such loving individuals, and we need to accept them, we need to protect them, and we need to continue to support families with children with Down syndrome.
Down syndrome can result in intellectual and physical delays and disabilities, but as you just mentioned, it sounds like they can really contribute to society.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the most important aspects of this legislation and this whole issue is how many parents are waiting to adopt children, but not only adopt children's, Catherine, but adopt children with Down syndrome. We have several adoption agencies in Ohio that have waiting lists of parents who want to adopt and are willing to adopt children with Down syndrome. So many parents want to wrap their arms around a new child, a child that may have some perceived disabilities or challenges, but they're ready to love them, they're ready to nurture them, and they're ready to bring those children into their home.
In your testimony on this bill, you stated your personal experience has shown individuals with Down syndrome are truly treasures. Can you share some of that personal experience?
Well, I've had the opportunity to interact with many people in my community with Down syndrome. I was at a restaurant the other day, and several people with Down syndrome were working. They were happy. Their employers were happy that they were working for them. They were doing a great job. And Down syndrome, people with Down syndrome are so loving. They're caring. They have a lot to teach us, and they have a lot to give. But for people with Down syndrome to be able to give, they have to be given the opportunity to live. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want Ohio to be a safe haven for people with Down syndrome, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put it and codified in law that Down syndrome is not a death sentence upon diagnosis in our state.
Ohio State Representative Derek Merrin, thank you for your time.
Great to be with you.